Hello and welcome to the Storyteller channel. In today's story time, I will be reading you a book called The Owl Who Was Afraid of the Dark. The Owl Who Was Afraid of the Dark. Owl lives in a hollow in a tree. Owl's tree casts shadows in the bright light of the moon. Owl gazes out from her hollow with big round golden eyes. She sees the shiny moon. She sees the bats fly by. She sees the little foxes near their den. But sometimes the moon is not there, and then it is very dark. Owl has a secret. She is afraid of the dark. Barney the barn owl brings Owl an invitation. Dear Owl, let's go flying through the dark forest tonight at midnight. Yours, Barney. Poor Owl, she would love to go with Barney, but the night is so dark. What might be waiting out there? It is too dark tonight, says Owl. Sadly, Barney flies away. Oh, why must the moon go away and leave me in the dark? Cries Owl. The moon is behind a cloud, but she hears Owl's cry. How sad, says the moon. Owl is afraid of the dark. The moon glides down to perch in Owl's tree. Owl, she says gently, I am your friend. I watch over you each and every night. But sometimes you are not in the sky, says Owl. The little foxes gaze at the lovely moon. I am always there, says the moon, even if you cannot see me. I promise you, Owl, I will always be there. Truly, says Owl. Truly, says the moon. Soon, the dark night comes again, but Owl remembers what the moon said. The moon is there even when I can't see her, says Owl. The little foxes hear and frisk for joy. Owl sends Barney a note. Dear Barney, let's go flying through the dark forest. Tonight at midnight, yours, Owl. Owl and Barney fly through the night. Owl knows the moon is smiling in the dark. I hope you've enjoyed the story. For more exciting stories, please remember to like and subscribe at the Storyteller channel. Bye for now.
Hello and welcome to the Storyteller channel. In today's story time, we'll be reading a book called The Little Raindrop by Joanna Gray. One dark and stormy day, a little raindrop fell out of a cloud and flew faster and faster through the sky. A gust of wind blew little raindrop sideways, and in a dazzling flash of red, orange, and yellow, he found himself inside a rainbow. Enjoying the beautiful colors, little raindrop fell through green, blue, indigo, and violet before another gust of wind blew him out of the rainbow. Splash! Little Raindrop landed in a shallow puddle on top of a large rock. Splish, splash, splosh! Lots of other raindrops fell all around him until the puddle was overflowing. Little Raindrop ran down the side of the rock and joined a stream. In the stream, Little Raindrop drifted through woods and bounced over pebbles. He played with small, shimmering fish and watched them dart around as deer and rabbits came to drink at the water's edge. Sometimes, laughing children would raise sticks in the water, and Little Raindrop would chase them under bridges, dodging the swirling grass and fluttering leaves. After a while, the stream joined a river, and Little Raindrop floated along in the strong current. At times, the river was calm and peaceful, and Little Raindrop watched diving kingfishers and larger fish as they swam slowly by. At other times, the river was noisy and rough. Little Raindrop raced along rapids and dived down waterfalls, carefully avoiding the jagged rocks at the bottom of the falls. Eventually, the river reached the sea, and Little Raindrop was pulled far away from the shore. He met friendly dolphins who played and danced in the sunlight and listened as they whistled and clicked their greetings to each other. One day, the tide pulled Little Raindrop back to the beach. He surfed the waves and crashed onto the shore until finally he came to rest on the soft sand. Look at him on the soft sand, Plumpy. The sun shone down on the sand and Little Raindrop got hotter and hotter until the warmth of the sun drew him up into the air. It was cooler in the sky, and Little Raindrop joined a cloud that was already full of other raindrops. Little Raindrop was ready to fall to earth and begin his journey once more. And that is how little raindrops come trickling down the earth when it rains. I hope you've enjoyed the story. For more exciting stories, please remember to like and subscribe at the Storyteller channel. Bye for now.
Hello and welcome to the Storyteller channel. Today we will be reading a book called This Old Fan by Kim Norman, illustrated by Carolyn Conahan. This old van. This old van, she passed one, shining in the rising sun with a click-clack, rattle-rack, ready for some fun. This old van says goodbye one. This old van, she passed two, friendly flaggers wave her through with a click-clack, rattle-rack, tooting at the crew. This old van says goodbye too. That goodbye too. Two of the construction cars. This old van, she passed three, ploughing round a tulip tree with a click-clack, rattle-rack, baggage flying free. This old van says goodbye three. This old van, she passed four, roaring toward the grocery store with a click-clack, ratter-rack, pedal to the floor. This old van says goodbye for. This old van, she passed 5, zigging up a zaggy drive with a click-clack, ratter-rat. When will she arrive? This old van says goodbye 5. This old van, she passed 6, hauling 500,000 bricks with a click-clack, ratter-rack, spitting oily slicks. This old van says goodbye 6. Goodbye 6. This old van, she passed 7, honking horns at hot fudge heaven with a click-clack, ratter-rack, flat on rod 11. This old van says goodbye 7. This old van, she passed 8, riding high as shiny fright with a click-clack, ratter-rack. Now she's running late. This old van says goodbye 8. This old van, she passed 9, just before the country line with a click-clack, ratter-rack, glad to see the sign. This old van says goodbye 9. This old van, she passed 10, dodging dirt clods now and then with a click-clack, ratter-rack, wipers on again. This old van says goodbye 10. This old van, caked in grime, picks up speed for one last climb with a click-clack, ratter-rack, bloody in her prime. This old van is just in time. Thank you so much for watching. For more exciting stories, please remember to like and subscribe at the Storyteller channel. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to the Storyteller channel. In today's story time, I'll be reading you a book called The Wonky Donkey. Words by Craig Smith and illustrations by Kat Coley. The Wonky Donkey. I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey. He howled and he only had 3 legs. He was a wonky donkey. I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey. He howled. He only had 3 legs and 1 eye. He was a winky wonky donkey. I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey. He howled. He only had 3 legs, 1 eye, and he liked to listen to country music. Yee-haw! He was a honky tonky winky wonky donkey. I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey. He howled. He only had 3 legs, 1 eye. He liked to listen to country music and he was quite tall and slim. He was a lanky honky tonky winky wonky donkey. I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey. He howled. He only had 3 legs, 1 eye. He liked to listen to country music. He was quite tall and slim, and he smelled really, really bad. He was a stinky, dinky, lanky, honky, tonky, winky, wonky donkey. I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey. He howled. He only had 3 legs, 1 eye. He liked to listen to country music. He was quite tall and slim. He smelled really, really bad. And that morning he'd got up early and hadn't had any coffee. He was a cranky, stinky, lanky, honky, tonky, winky, wonky donkey. I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey. He howled. He only had 3 legs, 1 eye. He liked to listen to country music. He was quite tall and slim. He smelled really, really bad. That morning he'd got up early and hadn't had any coffee, and he was always getting up to mischief. He was a hanky, panky, cranky, stinky, dinky, lanky, hunky, tonky, winky, wonky, donkey. I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey hee-haw. He only had 3 legs, 1 eye. He liked to listen to country music. He was quite tall and slim. He smelled really, really bad. That morning he'd got up early and hadn't had any coffee. He was always getting up to mischief, but he was quite good looking. He was a spunky, hanky, panky, cranky, stinky, dinky, lanky, honky, tonky, winky, wonky, donkey. I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey hee-haw. Thank you so much for listening. For more exciting stories, please remember to like and subscribe at the Storyteller channel. Bye for now.
Hello and welcome to the Storyteller channel. Today's story would be about Tricky Little Hippo. It's by Jane Boring and illustrated by Nina Rycroft. Two little hippopotamuses stared at the water. They were counting 9, 10, 11, 12. A little way down the river, the big hippos rumbled and grumbled, but the little hippos took no notice. 13, 14, 15. Above them, a bird squawked and flapped its wings, but the little hippos didn't lose count. Kept on counting. 16, 17. Oh! There was a splash and a roly-poly little hippo burst out of the water. How many did I do? Cried Holly. Water sprayed from her ears as they popped up straight. 17, said Heath. Oh, said Holly, is that all? It was 2 better than Heath, but Honey had stayed under the water for 21 whole seconds. Takes a lot of seconds to stay under the water. Let's play a different game, said Holly, chasing in the mud. Chasing's in the mud, yelled Honey, and the 3 little hippos raced off to the mud hole just beyond the reeds. They squealed and they squelched, and they rolled and they belched, and the mud squished through their toes as they chased each other through the slippy, sloppy mud. Heath caught Holly, and Honey caught Holly, and Holly caught Honey, and Heath caught Honey, but nobody came even close to catching Heath. The 3 little hippos played and played until the sun began to go down. When their mothers came to get them, they couldn't tell which little hippo was which. As the frogs began to croak their evening song, Holly's friend Egret flew down from a tree. Did you have fun today? Said Egret. Yes, said Holly, but then she sighed. What is it, little one? Said Egret. Well, said Holly, Honey was best at staying under water, and Heath was best at chasings. I want to be best at something too. You are best at something, said Egret. Am I? Said Holly. What will we play now? Asked Holly the next morning. Hide and seek, said Heath. I'll be it. Heath covered her eyes and began to count. Honey swam off and hid behind a clump of water reeds. She stayed very, very still. Holly couched behind her mother, who was dozing on the riverbank. Coming, ready or not, cried Heath. Heath looked all around him. He looked at the big hippos resting in the shallows, their heads pillowed on each other's backs. He looked at the water reeds, long and green at the water's edge. And then he looked at Holly's mother, snorting and snuffling at the riverbank. Peeking up behind her back she saw two little ears. Found you, Holly, he cried. Let's play a different game, said Holly. I know, said Heath. Who can open their mouth the widest? Honey went first. She opened her mouth very wide. Holly went next, and she opened her mouth even wider. But then Heath opened his mouth so wide that his teeth glinted in the sunlight. As the frogs began to croak their evening song, Holly's friend Egret flew down from a tree. Did you have fun today? Said Egret. Oh yes, said Holly. But Honey was best at hiding and Heath was best at opening his mouth. I want to be best at something too. You are best at something, said Egret. Am I? Said Holly. The next day, Honey said, let's play who can stay under the water the longest. Holly didn't want to. She was sure Honey would win. But then she saw a dark shape walking on the bottom of the river, and she changed her mind. Honey went first and she stayed under for 22 seconds. Heath went second and he stayed under for 23 seconds. And then it was Holly's turn. She took a huge gulp of water and sank beneath the water. 1, 2, 3, Honey and Heath began to count. 8, 9, 10. They were counting so carefully they didn't see Holly walk along the riverbed and go around behind them. 15, 16, 17. Heath and Honey were counting so carefully they didn't see Holly watching them from the reeds. 21, 22. Holly would have to come up so soon. Egret flapped his wings and flew down onto Honey's back. But the two little hippos didn't lose count. 26, 27. Heath and Honey were getting worried now. No little hippo has ever stayed under this long. They stared hard at the water. They were staring so hard they didn't notice the little raft of eyes, ears and nose gliding silently towards them. They were staring so hard that when a roly-poly shape burst out of the water behind them bellowing, "Tricked you! Tricked you!" they all belly flopped into the water. When she looked at her friends' astonished faces, the grin on Holly's face was so huge that her teeth glinted in the sunlight. "I'm the best at being tricky! I'm the best at being tricky!" she roared. "You are indeed," said Egret, shaking the water from his feathers. "You are the trickiest little hippo." The end. I hope you've enjoyed the story. For more exciting videos, please remember to like and subscribe at the Storyteller channel. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to the Storyteller channel. In today's story time, I will be reading you a book called Who's Bad and Who's Good? Little Red Riding Hood. It's a story about stranger danger. Who's Bad and Who's Good? Little Red Riding Hood. Written by Steve Smallman and illustrated by Neil Price. Once upon a time, there was a girl called Little Red Riding Hood. It wasn't her real name, it was just what everyone called her because she was little and always wore a red cloak with a hood. One day, her mum asked her to take some cupcakes and soup to her grandma, who lived in the woods. "Stick to the path and don't talk to strangers," said her mum. "And if you do meet a stranger, yell, run, and tell." "Who should I tell?" asked Little Red Riding Hood. "Someone you know, or a policeman, or a person in a shop," replied her mum. On the way to Grandma's house, Little Red Riding Hood heard someone coughing behind a tree. It was a wolf. "Hello, what are you doing out here all by yourself?" he croaked. "A stranger," gasped Little Red Riding Hood. "I'm going to my grandma's house, so leave me alone," she yelled. She ran and ran until she met a rabbit. "Oh, hello. What's wrong?" asked Rabbit. A rabbit. "Oh, hello. What's wrong?" asked the rabbit. "I'm on my way to Grandma's house with some cakes and soup and I saw a big bad wolf, but I yelled and ran away," gabbled Little Red Riding Hood. "Oh dear, how awful," said Rabbit. "Why don't you pick some flowers for your dear grandma? Then I'll come with you to keep you safe." "Oh, thank you," said Little Red Riding Hood. "That would be lovely." While Little Red Riding Hood picked flowers, she told Rabbit all about her grandma. "She's very old and she still lives all by herself. Mum says it's not safe for her to be all alone, especially when she's got so much jewelry. I can't wait to meet her," said Rabbit. Meanwhile, the wolf arrived, huffing and puffing at Grandma's cottage. Knock, knock. He knocked on the door, then went inside. When Little Red Riding Hood arrived at the cottage, she found someone snuggled up in Grandma's bed wearing a nightie and cap. "Oh, Grandma, what big eyes you have," said Little Red Riding Hood. "Well, they must work better than yours," replied the wolf. "I'm not your grandma." "Eek! It's the wolf!" shrieked Little Red Riding Hood. "He's eaten your grandma!" yelled Rabbit. "Oh no, Grandma!" wailed Little Red Riding Hood. "Yes, dear," replied Grandma, walking into the room carrying a tea tray. "What on earth is the matter?" "Oh, I thought this big bad wolf had eaten you," cried Little Red Riding Hood. "I didn't," croaked the wolf. "He was about to," cried Rabbit, moving towards the door. But just then, crash! A policeman burst in. "Thank goodness you're here," cried Little Red Riding Hood. "Arrest him!" "I will," said the policeman, and he grabbed the rabbit by the ears. "Will someone please tell me what is going on here?" shouted Little Red Riding Hood. So Grandma told her, "Mr. Wolf is a friend of mine. He came to warn me that you were all alone in the woods and that you were talking to strangers, so we called the police. Mr. Wolf looked poorly when he got here, so I made him put on something warm and get into bed. Then I made some tea. So that's why you're wearing Grandma's nightie and cap," said Little Red Riding Hood. "Yes," replied Mr. Wolf. "I might look silly, but I'm lovely and warm." "Even though you yelled and ran away, you told me where you were going, and you spoke to Rabbit, but you didn't know him either," said Mr. Wolf. "But he's really nice," argued Little Red Riding Hood. "No, he isn't," said the policeman. "This is the famous bunny burglar. We've been after him for ages. The policeman tipped Rabbit's bag upside down and out fell Little Red Riding Hood's cupcakes, the soup, the grandma's jewelries, and many things that they'd never seen before. The policeman led Rabbit away. I was so sure Rabbit was good and Wolf was bad, sighed Little Red Riding Hood. You can't always tell who's bad and who's good. Mr. Wolf is lovely, and now you know him, he's not a stranger, said Grandma. Little Red Riding Hood looked over at Mr. Wolf, who was sitting in bed, drinking tea and still wearing Grandma's nicey and cap. Well, he might not be a stranger, giggled Little Red Riding Hood, but he definitely looks strange. The end. I hope you've enjoyed the story. For more exciting stories, please remember to like and subscribe at the Storyteller channel. Bye for now.
Hello and welcome to the Storyteller channel. In today's story time, I have a story for you by Trace Murray called When I'm Feeling Kind. This is a great book to help us realize our own feelings and how we are feeling when we are feeling kind. When I'm Feeling Kind, written and illustrated by Trace Murray. When I'm feeling kind, I feel soft and gentle and caring, and my heart feels really warm. When I'm feeling kind, I like to do things that help other people. Feeling kind helps me understand how other people may be feeling. There are many things that I like to do when I feel kind, like help my mum clean the house, or listen to a friend talk about a problem they have, or give a friend a big hug when they feel sad. Kindness is something I can do. I can also give to myself. Being kind to myself means liking who I am and being proud of the things I'm good at, instead of worrying about the things I'm not so good at. Being kind to myself means looking after my body. I look after it by eating healthy food, exercising every day, and getting lots of sleep. When I'm feeling kind, I find it easy to be polite and have good manners. When I ask for something, I always say, please. And when someone gives me something, I always say, thank you. Kindness is something that makes everyone feel really good, especially me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the story. For more exciting stories, please remember to like and subscribe at the Storyteller channel. The Pear in the Pear Tree by Pamela Allen. When John and Jane went out walking, they were busy talking. Until, look, said John, look up there. I can see a juicy pear. They couldn't reach. They had a try. What will they do? It's up too high. They fetched a ladder. I'm ready, said Jane. You must hold it steady. But just as Jane was reaching out, poor John let out a warning shout. The ladder leaned. Jane screamed. Ow! Now clinging to the topmost rung, just like a metronome, she swung back and forth, back and forth. Soon, John was running very fast. To keep Jane up, it didn't last. Jane, like a fishing lure, was cast. Ow! Splosh! A bird was sound asleep that day in a pond not far away, when Jane came hurtling from the sky and landed splosh nearby. The startled bird got such a scare, she was shot up in the air. Ark! Jane was struggling in the water. John reached out his hand and caught her. Now Jane was wet with dripping hair, but still they had to have that pear. How will they ever reach up there? How will they ever get that pear? Boing! The bird dropped from the sky and landed on the branch up high. She landed plonk in quite a state and bent the branch with her great weight. Although she landed heavily and bounced and rocked unsteadily. John was able to reach the pear. Now that she was sitting there, the pear was fastened very tight. They pulled and pulled with all their might. Twang! The precious pear came free, and then the bird, as you can see, was catapulted from the tree. She landed splop back in the pond, safe and sound where she belonged. John and Jane now ate the pear, one bite each. That was fair. They ate it up, down to the core. That's all, said Jane. There is no more.
Hello and welcome to the Storyteller channel. Today's story would be about the 3 billy goats gruff. The 3 billy goats gruff. Illustrated by Robert Chapman.
Once upon a time, there were 3 billy goats. A small billy goat, a middle-sized billy goat, and a big billy goat, and each was called Gruff. The 3 billy goats Gruff could see a meadow in the distance where the grass was green and good to eat, and off they set to go to it. But they found a wide river in the way with only one bridge across. And below that bridge was a huge and horrible troll with great round eyes and a nose as long as a poker. The small billy goat Gruff began to cross the bridge. Trip, trap. "Who's that crossing my bridge?" roared the troll.
"It's only me, the small billy goat Gruff, and I'm going to the meadow to eat grass,"
said the small billy goat in a small voice. "I shall gobble you up," roared the troll.
"Oh, don't do that. Wait till my brother comes along. He's much bigger and fatter than I am."
"Be off with you then," said the troll. Soon after, the middle-sized billy goat Gruff began to cross the bridge. Trip, trap, trip, trap. "Who's that crossing my bridge?" roared the troll.
"It's only me, the middle-sized billy goat Gruff, and I'm going to the meadow to eat grass,"
said the middle-sized billy goat in a middle-sized voice. "I shall gobble you up," roared the troll.
"Oh, don't do that. Wait till my brother comes along. He's much bigger and fatter than I am."
"Be off with you then," said the troll. At long last, the big billy goat began to cross the bridge. Trip, trap, trip, trap. "Who's that crossing my bridge?" roared the troll. "It's me, Big Billy Goat Gruff," shouted the big billy goat in a very big voice. "I'm coming to gobble you up," roared the troll. Trip, trap, trip, trap. "Oh, no, you're not," shouted the big billy goat Gruff. He charged at the troll, tossed him in the air and with his huge horns, and threw him splash into the river. Then the big billy goat Gruff crossed the bridge to join the middle-sized billy goat Gruff and the small billy goat Gruff on the other side, and they all went off together to the green meadow, where they ate to their heart's content. The end. I hope you've enjoyed the story. Hello and welcome to the Storyteller channel. In today's story time, I will be reading you a book called The Ugly Duckling, performed by Justin Clark, illustrated by Nathaniel Ekstrom, and written by Frank Loser. The Ugly Duckling. The Ugly Duckling. There once was an ugly duckling with feathers all stubby and brown, and the other birds in so many words said, "Get out of town! Get out! Get out! Get out of town!" And And he went with a quack and a waddle and a quack in a furry of elder down. That poor little ugly duckling went wandering far and near, but at every place they said to his face, "Get out of here! Now get out of here! Get out!" And he went with a quack and a waddle and a quack and a very unhappy tear. All through the winter time he hid himself away, ashamed to show his face, afraid what others might say. All through the winter in his lonely clump of weeds, till a flock of swans spied him there and very soon agreed, "You're a very fine swan indeed." "A swan? Me a swan? Ah, go on." And he said, "Yes, you're a swan. Take a look at yourself in the lake and you'll see." And he looked and he saw and he said, "I'm a swan, whee! I'm not such an ugly duckling, no feathers all stubby and brown." For the fact these birds in so many words said, "The best in town, the best, the best, the best in town." Not a quack, not a quack, not a waddle or a quack, but a glide and a whistle and a snowy white back, and a head so noble and high. Say, who's an ugly duckling? Not I, not I. Thank you so much for listening. For more exciting stories, please remember to like and subscribe at the Storyteller channel. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to the Storyteller channel. In today's story time, I will be reading you a book about a dinosaur. It's called A Dinosaur That Pooped the Bed by Tom Fletcher and Dougie Pointer. It's illustrated by Gary Parsons. The Dinosaur That Pooped the Bed by Tom Fletcher and Dougie Pointer. Illustrated by Gary Parsons. Danny and Dino had nothing to do, so Danny said, "Why don't we watch some cartoons?" But then Danny's mum cast a shadow of gloom. "You can't watch TV till you've tidied your room." They slumped up the stairs in the foulest of grubs and stood in their room at the foot of Mount Dump. "Tidying this mess will take thousands of years," said Danny, whilst desperately holding back tears. Unless they were going to tidy forever, they needed a plan that was clever. And then an idea popped inside Danny's head. "Why clean up this mess? You can eat it instead." So Dinosaur opened its mouth like a bin. Dan scooped up the mess and he threw it all in. Toys from the tip of the top of the heap were chucked in and chomped by the dinosaur's teeth. It chewed Danny's shoes. It could not get enough of teddies and cuddly stuff made of fluff. The dinosaur sucked like a humongous hoover, removing the mess like a room mess remover. Vests, pants, and socks and little toy soldiers. Dan laughed as he watched from the dinosaur's shoulders. His fluffy pet hamster, along with its cage, was swallowed in Dinosaur's mess-munching rage. It smashed the CDs, which, on reflection, were far from the greatest of record collections. So Dan didn't mind. It all had to go. if they wanted to kick back and watch TV shows. In Dinosaur's head, the bed was a burger, as Diamond would look to the greediest burglar. In one dino bite, the bed disappeared. No mess left in sight. The whole room had been cleared. Not one piece of rubbish was left to consume. At last, we can finally watch some cartoons. But Dinosaur's tongue cast a shadow of doom. It was full to the brim with a mess of Dan's room. Dino was wedged in between floor and ceiling. It couldn't believe how full up it was feeling. It started to worry. It started to panic. Never before had it been more gigantic. The dinosaur's bottom was bigger than Norway, so big and so fat it was blocking the doorway. Then Dan started crying. His nose dripped with snot. They were stuck in their room and the TV was not. With pillows and quilts in the dinosaur's gut, its brain didn't have full control of its butt. It knew that there wasn't a thing it could do, one way or another. It needed to poo. The dinosaur pooped more than ever before. All the mess they had cleared was now back on the floor. Shoes, pants, and teddies, and soldiers and socks with smelly poo lumps filling Danny's toy box. Then Danny saw Dinosaur's face turning red and knew the thing next to be pooped was his bed. It sprang from its bum with a bounce and a bump right back to its place at the base of Mount Dump. Then Dino deflated and unblocked the door, where Mummy was standing, more cross than ever before. They looked at the mess all around where they stood and knew they'd been naughty, and naughty is not good. So they picked up their mops and mopped up the plops that covered the toys and the vests, pants and socks. If only they tidied their room as they should, they'd be watching TV, not wishing they could. So remember, next time you're in front of the telly, you can't watch cartoons if your bedroom is smelly. The end. I hope you've enjoyed the story. Hello and welcome to the Storyteller channel. Today's story time would be about the Great Heffalump Hunt, Winnie the Pooh, and it's by Gilles Andrew. Winnie the Pooh, The Great Heffalump Hunt by Gilles Andrew. Piglet trotted happily beside his best friend Pooh, talking about nothing much, as best friends often do, when suddenly Pooh stopped and said, "I've got a grand idea. I'm going to catch a heffalump. I've heard they live round here." "A heffalump?" squeaked Piglet. "But they're huge, wild, scary beasts. And Rabbit says they like to roast fresh piglets for their feasts." "Well, that's why I must catch one," Pooh declared. Then, with a clap, he said, "Aha! I've got a plan. Let's set a cunning trap." Now, what might hungry heffalumps find tempting as a treat? aside from piglets?" pondered Pooh. "My guess is something sweet. A yumptious jar of honey, then," said Piglet with a grin. "We'll bait a trap with honey and he'll simply fall right in." "What a grand idea," said Pooh. "Let's do it tonight. I'll go and fetch some honey while you dig a pit, all right?" Pooh went and got the honey, but before he reached the pit, a little voice inside him said, "Just taste a tiny bit." He found the pit his friend had dug and passed the honey down. "There's hardly any left," squeaked Piglet, giving Pooh a frown. "There's just the right amount," said Pooh. "I gave it careful thought. Let's meet at 6 tomorrow then and find out what we've caught." So Pooh and Piglet went to bed, but neither was prepared for the fact that Pooh was hungry and that Piglet was, well, scared. "That jar of honey is our trap," groaned Pooh. It was my last. Oh, bother, double bother. And if no one's listening, blast. Just one more little pawful would be neither here nor there. A heffalump who's hungry wouldn't notice, wouldn't care. So he set off through the forest with the moonlight overhead. And at that moment, Piglet sat up wide awake in bed. That horrid, hairy heffalump, he might not like Pooh's honey. Oh, what if all he wants is juicy piglets in his tummy? But Pooh will be there with me, Piglet thought. My best friend, Pooh. It's scary when you're one, but it's much friendlier when with two. So just before his clock struck 6, he tiptoed out the door. The leaves and branches crackled on the frosty forest floor. Then suddenly he heard a noise that chilled him to the bone. A ghostly wail, a growl, a roar, a mournful, muffled moan. "Where are you, Pooh?" called Piglet. His heart beat fast with dread. "I'm in the pit," he heard Pooh cry, "and something's got my head." "The heffalump!" squeaked Piglet. "It's in the pit with Pooh, and I'm much too small to help him. Oh, there's nothing I can do." But something in his little soul prevented him from running, and Piglet's voice rose clear and strong. "Hold on, Pooh, Bear, I'm coming." As fast as he could scamper, Piglet hurried to the pit, then bravely scrambled to the edge and peered down into it. A heffalump! It's got him, and it's shaking him about, and all that Piglet saw was Pooh's poor bottom sticking out. He summoned all his strength and smacked the monster on the head. "Take that, you naughty heffalump! Now, let Pooh go," he said. Then Piglet gave one final heave, and with a squelching sound, out popped Pooh completely and collapsed onto the ground. "The heffalump, it's vanished," Piglet said. "It won't get far." But there, in Piglet's arms, Pooh saw an empty honey jar. "The heffalump," said Pooh. Yes, I'm pretty sure he's gone. I thought I saw him too. But, Piglet, maybe we were wrong. You see, I got quite hungry when I went to have my nap, but the only snack I knew of was the one inside this trap. I took a lick, my head got stuck. I thought, this is the end. But there you were, dear Piglet, my brave rescuer, my friend. I did it, Piglet slowly spoke, because I love you, Pooh, and I know if it were me that you would do the same thing too. I would, said Pooh, and thank you. Then he sniffed and wiped his eyes. I'd rescue you from heffalumps, but maybe let's not try. We're lucky, Pooh, said Piglet, as they set off home together, that you and I are such good friends. Best friends, said Pooh, forever. Thank you so much for watching. Hello everyone and welcome to the Storyteller channel. Today we will be reading and singing a book called Skip to the Loo My Darling, sung by the Top Twins, pictures by Jenny Cooper. Skip to the loo, my darling. Skip, skip, skip to the loo, skip, skip, skip to the loo, skip, skip, skip to the loo, skip to the loo, my darling. Puppies in the hen house, what'll I do? Puppies in the hen house, what'll I do? Puppies in the hen house, what'll I do? Skip to the loo, my darling. Shoo, shoo, tell him to shoo, 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 it's a hullabaloo. Shoo, shoo, tell him to shoo, shoo, skip to the loo, my darling. Chooks in the wool shed, what'll I do? Chooks in the wool shed, what'll I do? Chooks in the wool shed, what'll I do? Skip to the loo, my darling. Shoo, shoo, tell her to shoo, 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 it's a hullabaloo. Shoo, shoo, tell her to shoo, skip to the loo, my darling. Sheep's in the stable, what'll I do? Sheep's in the stable, what'll I do? Sheep's in the stable, what'll I do? Skip to the loo, my darling. Shoo, shoo, tell her to shoo, 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 it's a hullabaloo. Shoo, shoo, tell her to shoo, skip to the loo, my darling. Ponies in the cowshed, what'll I do? Ponies in the cowshed, what'll I do? Ponies in the cowshed, what'll I do? Skip to the loo, my darling. Shoo, shoo, tell him to shoo, 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 it's a hullabaloo. Shoo, shoo, tell him to shoo, skip to the loo, my darling. Cows in the garden, what'll I do? Cows in the garden, what'll I do? Cows in the garden, what'll I do? Skip to the loo, my darling. Shoo, shoo, tell her to shoo, 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 it's a hullabaloo. Shoo, shoo, tell her to shoo, skip to the loo, my darling. Possums in the long drop, what'll I do? Possums in the long drop, what'll I do? Possums in the long drop, and I need the loo, come to the rescue, darling. Shoo, shoo, tell him to shoo, 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 it's a hullabaloo. Shoo, shoo, tell him to shoo, or it's possums due for you. Flies in the long drop, shoo, fly, shoo. Flies in the long drop, shoo, fly, shoo. Flies in the long drop, shoo, fly, shoo. Get out of that loo, my darling. Bye-bye, thanks for watching. For more exciting videos and stories, please remember to like and subscribe at the Storyteller channel.